Check out this free video and make sure you hit like and subscribe.
Demolition has signed a Legends deal with WWE, which is kind of a surprise because Bill Eadie, a.k.a. Demolition Axe, a.k.a. the Mass Superstar, a.k.a. Bolo Mongol, he was in litigation with WWF for years over issues related to Demolition, including pay and who owned the rights to all the trademarks to the group, and I think that was settled in 1997, but there were still apparently issues after that as well in the, I know it's been written about, I believe, in the book, The Six Pack. Bill Eadie talked a lot about that case and really saying that it was a principal issue when it came to promises that Vince McMahon had broken with him. But now with Vince McMahon out of the picture, I guess, much like at one time Bruno Sammartino, which apparently that relationship was mended by Triple H, and now Jesse Ventura coming in after Vince is gone. This feels like another case of Vince being gone has now opened the door for Bill Eadie to make a deal, and for me, that's a great thing as a kid who grew up in the 80s and was a fan of the Mass Superstar and was a fan of Demolition. I mean, that's one of the most iconic tag teams in WWF history, and certainly one of the most iconic theme music productions in WWF history, the song by Rick Derringer.
Yeah, I think it's cool that, they worked this deal out, that they're going to be back. Hopefully, I'm sure the plan is to get them put into the Hall of Fame. And I would like to see it be not only Axe and Smash, but also Crush. Because I was a big fan. Yes. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I was a big fan of Crush. I loved when they took on the Hart Foundation and tried to sneak behind the ref. Crush was barred from ringside. It was only supposed to be 2 out of the 3 Demolition members. And Bill Eadie, Axe is in the ring, and he's down for the count. He sneaks out, and then it's Crush in there. Brian Adams, and the referee can't tell the difference. Are you kidding me? Pro wrestling at its finest. We talk, people talk about the refs being stupid now, but good God, think about that.
Well, when Demolition won the titles from, who was it, Strikeforce? Didn't Fuji, they hit, who was it, Martel in the back with the cane? And I think the cane was still laying in the ring when Demolition got the victory and won the titles. So, yeah, that will happen sometimes. But that's great. I think Bill Eadie is one of the best professional wrestlers who will never make it into a Hall of Fame, but you could argue that he does. His work as the Mass Superstar for years was amazing, and Demolition was looked at the time as a fake Road Warriors, a rip-off Road Warriors, and for WWF fans who really didn't have access to the Road Warriors and actually got a chance to watch Demolition, you were actually able to see that they were really, really good. And it may have started off as somewhat of a tribute act or somewhat of a ripoff to the Road Warriors, but they certainly, through the time they were there, I mean, again, they were an absolutely iconic group. So looks like they could be into the Hall of Fame. They are definitely getting merchandise made. There's talk about them already in the video game and all that sort of stuff. So Demolition back in the fold now that Vince McMahon is gone. And when we get back from break, I'll tell you about that little TNA shakeup that Brian and I discovered during the show yesterday, as well as TNA Impact tonight and AEW Dynamite from last night. We'll be back. Wrestling Observer Live. Show Mike Sempervive and Filthy Tom Lawlor here with you on Wrestling Observer Live. Brian will be back tomorrow for Fun Friday. There's been a behind-the-scenes shakeup in TNA.
I got a question. Who is that fun for? The listeners?
It can be at times. It depends on how you feel about Brian just going on cathartic rants or not. That really kind of is what it comes down to. Because sometimes it can be fun for the listener, but sometimes, you're going to have to find your humor where you can.
What if tomorrow they get Alvarez Brian?
I already know what he's going to go. He's going to go on several rants about AEW Dynamite. We can probably point those out once we go through them. I can already see this coming. It was like the Goto thing. It's why I was ready for something on Tuesday. You know, he started off talking about this Janelle Grant thing, like, I told you so, and I told you so about a Janelle Grant story, where it's like, I told you everybody didn't know about Vince. There's all these, like, who was saying this, Brian? Why? Calm down. And then he transitions into Goto, craps all over that. And before we get to this TNA story.
Wait, what? I haven't seen the match, but what was he saying?
He was
bad-mouthing Goto?
He hadn't seen the match either. The only match he saw was the Bolton match. Yes, he didn't see the match, and all he saw was there was an old Hiroki Goto. Where are the young guys? Where are all the young guys?
Hey,
He's trying to defend against Tanahashi.
Well, yeah, okay, that's true, but how about the fact that Goto sold that show out? There was so much momentum behind that guy. 9 years, he hasn't had a title shot. He finally gets it and gets put over the hump. What a fantastic story.
If you love this show, you should consider signing up at WrestlingObserver.com. WrestlingObserver.com has every show that we have ever done. Over 15,000 podcasts in the archives, dating back to 2005. Searchable by show, searchable by year. Perhaps the first show you ever watched was 2008 WrestleMania? Well, you can head into the archives and you can find the podcast we did, all built around the 2008 WrestleMania. Every major show, whether it be WWE, AEW, we covered it all. 15,000 archived shows at WrestlingObserver.com. Also, when you subscribe, you get full access to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. There's a new Observer every Friday. And on top of that, we have thousands and thousands of archived issues of the Observer dating back to 1991. So again, WrestleMania 2008, go to the archives, search WrestleMania 2008, read all of the issues surrounding that show. Of course, Wrestling Observer newsletter, 40,000 words of news and information on pro wrestling and mixed martial arts every single week. New issue comes out every Friday. New back issue comes out every Monday. You also get the discussion board. One of the best discussion boards on the internet. It's members only. If you're going to troll, well, you got to pay to troll, and there aren't too many of those. And if you cause too much trouble, you're out of there. So if you want a great place to discuss professional wrestling, it is the board. Also available as a subscriber at WrestlingObserver.com. The whole package, all of the new shows, all of the archived shows, all of the new issues of the Observer, all of the archived editions of the newsletter, all of the past episodes of Wrestling Observer Radio, Wrestling Observer Live, The Brian and Vinny Show, Figure Four Daily, Filthy Four Daily, The Board, all of it, just $14.99 per month. The full shebang. And you can save a lot of money getting an annual subscription. A full year, you basically get 2 months free. So check it out, WrestlingObserver.com, everything you'll ever need as a fan of professional wrestling. Check it out today at 4WOnline.com.